let's move on to reports. So the first thing to say about reports is we have deliberately kept the user statistics reports outside of the regular Koha reporting module. And that's mainly because of the uniqueness of the structure of the data and the type of data and the way we need to report on it. But of course, that doesn't mean that you can't access the tables for the ERM user statistics through the reporting system in the normal way with SQL queries. But in terms of displaying the data, as you'll see in just a minute, we've actually separated it out. So we can create new reports or we can use save reports. So you can see in my drop-down list here, I've got one save report that I prepared earlier. This is ebook summary for Wiley. And it's exactly that. If I just highlight it there, submit it, you can see it's just a summary of the usage of that platform. One of the nice things you can see at the top here is display by year. So at the minute, we're looking at 2023, which is the most recent data. But if we want to switch to 2022, we can update the table. We could do that as well, which is quite nice. We can, again, export from here. So if we want to take that information out to another application or to Excel or to perhaps some analytics platform, then we could take that information out. Okay, let's just go back and just load that report up once more. And just to point out that we actually have an option to delete the report here if we need to. So if we actually want to get rid of that, then once it's created as a saved report, we can also delete it as well. Let's go and have a look at creating reports. So again, first thing you notice is there's some required fields here. And these fields have very specific drop-downs. If we just look at the values, so the data display by month with period totals, provider totals, metric type, and so on. And some of these have dependencies on each other. So for example, if we pick report type PRP1, we'll only show in the data provider field the platforms that actually support that data type. And again, if we perhaps change it to TR, it was TRJ1, wasn't it? Yeah, we can see there's 4 providers who support that. So there's some dependencies here. Important to say that also the metric type is specific to the report type. So some of these metric types only make sense if you're handling data for a certain report type. So for example, if we look at the platform report, we have searches, total platform searches, total item investigations. These are unique to the PR type reports. But if we have a look at the TR reports, it's basically item request or unique item request. So it's a different metric type. So there are these dependencies which you need to be aware of. Let's just clear those and put together a report. So we're going to do it by month. We'll take the books and platforms provider first of all. We'll do a PRP1 platform usage report. So it's a pretty basic report, and just look at searches by platform with a begin date of 2022 and an end date of 2023. And I'll just scroll down. You can see that there's the ability to select or unselect certain columns. And again, the columns here will only be active if they are relate to the metric type you're looking at. So you can see how I can't actually click on any of these columns because they're not in this data structure. But as we look at other reports, you'll see some of these start to become active. And there's also the date display method. So by default, it always displays to 12 months across the page, which is useful to visually be able to look at the data. But we'll go back and explore this second option in just a moment. But let's just run this one first of all. And you can see that this is what it is, exactly that. It's a summary of each of these platforms by searches. So we've only harvested data up to June, as we saw from the summary earlier. So hence we haven't got any data the back end of this year. But I should suspect if we go back to 2022 and have a look, then you can see that we have actually got some data for the whole year there. So again, we can export from here if we want to, and take the data out. But let's just go back and try a different report this time. So this time we're going to run it by month with a period total. We'll take the multiple reports provider this time. We'll look at that TRJ1 report. I'm not going to select the metric type here, which means I should get the data for both total item requests and unique item requests. I'm going to add a year range. And you can see that this time, some of these columns are actually active now. I can actually select these. So I'm going to add the online SSN to the column display. And this time I'm going to say, no, I don't want 12 columns. I want to take all the data that you've got within this range, and I want to select specifically what data I want to look at. So it may be that, I wanted to look at a specific month's usage, which would be a very common thing to do. Perhaps just have a look at March, see how busy March is. Or it may be that I want to take some months out, take all apart from August. You can see that now we've got this scroll bar because it goes right across the far side. And you can see this is the extra column I added, the online ISSN. So that's the column I specifically asked. Let's just try that report once more, but this time I'm going to, so I go back to reports, going to have a look specifically at the usage of a single title. That's what I want to know about. So I'm going to input the dates and the report types, but I've got this box at the bottom here, this keyword box, which allows me to search for a specific title. So here I can perhaps search for a title that's in the database, music analysis. Again, I'll add the online ISSN because that's useful information, and I'm just going to get the 12 months here. And there we've just focused in on that title, and we can see the usage for that title. Let's just go back to 2022. We've got some data for 2022. So I can focus very much in on specific e-journals, just see what the usage is. So perhaps if I'm thinking of unsubscribing to that title, then I can actually analyze how much it's being used. Let's just run one last report, and this time it's going to be a report that I'm going to save. So it's an annual ebook summary, which I'm going to do by year. And it's going to be the books and platforms provider. And we're going to have a look at the